So apparently now we need to go without pants because pants is the problem. Can you hear me now? Okay, I will hold it and it will not get connected to my pants. There was a lady I saw at a conference once and she was wearing a dress, but she had these boots that were like coming right up to her knees. And she actually took the mic receiver and clipped it on the end of her boots. It was really sexy, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm not allowed boots, so I don't know. It is. I wore my hoodie today though because I want to actually have some hacker cred. But this is not the hacker cred talk. If you were looking for the hacker stuff, that's probably Harsh, who's doing stuff on car hacking. This one is about cybersecurity careers, and this is a little bit about some stuff that has been, stuck in my craw for a little while. And if you read the description of what this is about, you can understand some of that too. The whole, there's billions of jobs in cybersecurity that are going unfilled. And I think that we're missing something ourselves as cybersecurity professionals. I think that as cybersecurity leaders who are hiring people, we're missing something. I'm hoping to at least open this as a conversation. I would love this to be an interactive conversation too. So he has his heckling. This is the heckling face. I see it. Looking for questions, looking for opportunities to talk. I'm looking for everybody to learn from each other. This is something we need in cybersecurity too. You've heard it now twice. If you were in this room already today, from Michelle, from Vincent, we need to be continuously learning from each other, right? This is a big piece of who we are and what we are. So I'm going to give the finger guns to Brody. And let's go to the first slide here. I've been working on this for about 4 years and nobody's ever wanted to do this one before. So it's gone through some alternate titles, including every time you post a job ad for a junior cybersecurity analyst that demands 10 years of experience in a CISSP, God kills a puppy. And then I thought, well, that's putting too much on, on the job hires. So then the next one is every time a security professional says, I've got lead cyber skills, I don't get out of bed for less than a G note, biatch. God kills a puppy. But then I thought, okay, maybe there's something in the middle that we can do instead, which turns into, oh, seriously, Adam, rough present. Yeah, I get it, okay. Every time a corporate recruiter looks at LinkedIn to build a cybersecurity candidate profile for a lazy hiring manager, God kills a puppy. Because God help you if you are a hiring manager and your recruiting team says, oh yeah, we are great at recruiting. We're the best at recruiting. We'll recruit you the best candidates. And then they go and they look on LinkedIn at my profile, which, CISSPGIs. God help us. Yugu, for anyone who's worked with Yugu at the city of Calgary, he has so much alphabet after his name that they invented new letters for him. And that isn't doing us any favors either. So taking no accountability for who we're trying to hire or who we're trying to be is difficult there too. And then cybersecurity talent, hard pills to swallow. This is really where I want to go is, are we the special snowflakes we think we are? Are we actually dealing with the problems the right way in our jobs, in our careers? We are a young industry. IT's only been around for 50 years. If we talk back to the history of the computer UNIVAC days, cybersecurity, we've only been calling it cyber for the last 5 years. It was IT security before that, telecom security, all those things before that. So are we getting our feet wet the right way? And then we're reading the news. 4 million. And so when I did the original synopsis back in, for the talk back in, I guess it was probably June or July or whatever, it was only 3.5. We're up to 4 million now. Hey! How many, okay, who in the room has job ads out right now? Is willing to admit that they have job ads out. Okay, there's a few of you that have jobs ads. Who here might be, looking for jobs over the course of the next 6 months? Y'all should kind of talk to each other. No. This is a hard subject because, it's easy to go and say, I'm going to go work with the technology and I'm going to go hack crap. In fact, that's kind of what I'm thinking for my talk next year. Crap Adam broke in 2023. Because I like breaking stuff. If anybody came and hang out with me, yesterday morning, we were poking at things with my Flipper Zero and my Proxmark devices. Go hang out with Hank Fordham. Same thing. He loves breaking stuff. The stuff that is hard is the human side of cybersecurity, and not even the social engineering side of it, but the human side of who we are, how we want to be a profession. The other title that I had was Self-Gaslighting to a Better Tomorrow, but then my oldest kid said, you know, Dad, that sounds really depressing and maybe you should get some help. And I was like, yeah, but I had a Red Bull instead. So, why do we say this? Why do we say this? 4 million unfilled jobs. And so this is 2022. Anyone from Fortinet in the room? No, I'm repping Fortinet apparently, and there's nobody here to hear. So there we go. But companies like Fortinet, all of the vendors, they come out with all sorts of reports as well that are saying these things too. Recruitment and retention of talent is a problem. Are we stealing from each other? If we're trying, like if we are a small incestuous community of cybersecurity professionals, are we stealing from each other or are we giving each other opportunities to learn and grow? Well, we probably are stealing at this point, but the reality is, who here wants to do the same thing over and over again? Okay. Uh, hey, for enough money, I'll shovel poo, right? But the days of building Fords for the most part are over. Like the old Henry Ford put people on an assembly line. We want to do stuff that excites us. We want to do stuff that is does good things and helps us learn and grow, experience new things. We want to contribute. I think every one of us wants to do work that matters, right? And we want to receive recognition for that contribution too, in the form of usually our salary, but also people recognizing and saying, hey, Adam, I appreciate you. Hey, Tim, I appreciate you. Tim was my boss at the City of Calgary, and we've worked together a number of times over the years. But those are the things we're looking for. So we don't have to be stealing from each other. We don't have to think that we're abandoning people, right? Alan, he abandoned me at the airport. But you know what? He abandoned me at the airport because he needed the next level to go and see the new thing. So what roles are organizations looking for? Cloud security specialists, security operations analysts, security administrators. Sounds like there's a whole lot of things that we're doing. How often when we're seeing the job ads, for those of you who put your hand up saying, yeah, I'm looking for a job, when you go looking for a job, you see, well, we need somebody to do our pen testing, we need somebody to do our GRC, we need somebody to do our audits, we need somebody to talk to our board. Is this realistic? Not really realistic, is it? I did go out to the internet and try to find stuff that we could actually reference back. And in all my slides, I did actually, I'm not making this crap up. This is me taking screenshots. I did take some screenshots too of horrible job ads. And then I got really depressed and had to self-gaslight myself into a better tomorrow. So I didn't include those screenshots. This is ICTC, and this is how they wanted themselves referenced if you ever put it on a slide. 1 in 6 Canadian cybersecurity roles go unfilled. Whose fault is that? I don't know. Is it anyone's fault? Is it because sorry? Hiring manager. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
The communication between the hiring manager and the HR person who doesn't take into consideration the job requirement.
Oh, that's good too, Kevin. That sounds like accountability.
It's the expectations on both sides. Engineers with 5 years experience of service communications and GRC and high management position.
Dina's going to finish my talk. So shared accountability. Oh my God, you guys, this is the brightest audience I've ever had. See? And this has been endemic for a long time. You are 100% correct. I remember when I was at NATE back in 1994, and there was a job ad that we were passing around that was looking for 5 years as a Java developer, and Java had been released as a development package for 2 years, right? So this has been going on for a while. This is not new. We've just inherited it. positions. Alex had one recently when we were talking last. She said, the junior cybersecurity position required 5 years of experience and probably a CISSP.
And a bunch of certifications, yeah.
Huh? Yep. Well, and a CISSP, GICSP, CRISC, anything from ISACA, ISC squared, all requires 5 years of experience before you can even get there. What have you seen? I saw that go away for a little while, but it's back, isn't it? Right? So the idea of the degree, everybody needs to have a degree in comp sci all of a sudden, or a degree in engineering. Those of us without degrees, what are we supposed to do about that? That's tricky. So and I usually try to boil things down to things of threes, right? Make it easy on folks. Why are we seeing some of that? Because hiring managers are trying to replicate themselves. They're saying, I have been the sole cybersecurity person in this organization for the last 10 years, and what I need is another me. They're not looking at the business objectives they're trying to serve. So when I'm talking to people who are trying to hire, this is usually where I try to steer them towards, what is the business problem you're trying to solve? Do you need somebody to help you manage vulnerabilities? Do you need somebody to help you tune your SIM to fix your noise? Do you need somebody to help you understand how this new AI stuff can fit into your existing technologies? Find out the business problems you're trying to solve. Don't try to replicate yourself. I absolutely hate that. Oh, Adam, if I could only clone you, well, then you'd be in real trouble and nothing would get done because we'd be breaking shit all day long. For those of us then, and so B-Sides Edmonton, okay, this is the year of the floppy disk, by the way. I love this. So B-Sides Edmonton, we did floppy disks as well as part of our badge. When I was at B-Sides Edmonton, I sat down at as many tables as I could just to try and talk to as many people as I could and discuss who we are in the industry. And almost every time it was, well, how big is your IT department? Oh, we got 15 people. How many people do you have in cybersecurity? Me. How many IT leaders do you have in your organization? Oh, we have a CIO, we have 2 directors, we have 5 managers, and we have 35 technologists. And who do you have for cybersecurity? Me. And where do you sit in the org chart? Yeah, I'm down there. So then this is our opportunity as a profession to evolve. And this is where I love every single one of you in this profession right now. Lead upwards. And we have to be educators. We have to educate who we are, what we're doing, what we want to be a part of. And my slides disappeared. That's awesome. Hi, Dan. Dan, you're doing great. This is lovely. We're going to go back one. Poor Dan. He's trying to, I gesticulate wildly, and he's trying to read my cues. And no, you're good. This is beautiful. You're beautiful, Dan. Thank you.
I have so much to ask you. You're doing a good job, too.
Best crowd ever. This is so good. Deliver business value. So when we were designing the badges for B-Sides Edmonton, me and a buddy of mine were kind of working through this, and we had various little puzzles that we could do so you could earn add-on badges. And it was really eye-opening for him when I said, he was like, oh, we got to start off with a cipher, and we got to look at, we got to have people doing packet inspection. And I'm like, but that's not what motivates everyone in security. And he took that as like, oh, wow, okay, that was his eye-open moment that, okay, there's so much more that we can be doing. But deliver business value. Focus on the value that we offer the businesses we work in. Coach. Yes, okay, we want to be coaches, sure. Be coachable. This is a question I asked in a forum about 1.5 years ago with a really wild group of people. But I asked the question, do we suck at being led? We are the mavericks because we're in cybersecurity, right? We're all smart. We know we're smart, even if we're stuck with all sorts of imposter syndrome. But we're all smart, and we know it. And sometimes we feel like we're the smartest people in the room. So does that mean that sometimes we're not listening when our boss or some other leader in the organization is saying, our business objectives are this? The last corporate gig I had, I broke down their risk factors in their organization down to 4 things. And I'm not going to tell you what they are because they're probably some sort of secret. Asset protection was number 4. Operations was number 1. There's an operations and guest experience thing that was more important than anything else in their organization. Alan's smiling because he knows. Now you just have to dox me and Alan and you'll know who I'm talking about. But asset protection was the actual lowest risk posture item in their organization because we had to go out and listen to the people who were running that business about what their actual goals were. And of course, being the cybersecurity people, were like, just please turn off the Windows 2003 servers. And they didn't. But anybody want to argue any of this? Like, if I'm wrong, I'm happy being wrong. But are you seeing something in your jobs, in your search for fulfillment in your jobs? What can I add?
I tag on to something you're saying here about being coach and being coachable. Is that when I started in this industry not too long ago, I transitioned from energy to tech. And one thing that was very important to me is continuing to remain in the industry and have very functions. Allows to encourage students here to find someone that you can chat with, speak to, and spend time with. Because these people all want to give back.
So there's some pretty powerful people in this room. Some really powerful people. We got Michael, we got Tim. These are all guys who want to help. We got, what's up, Dan? You good, Dan? Oh, yeah.
You know, you're talking about coachable and being coachable. When is the point of right in cybersecurity? Is it after being someone 10, 15 years get into
Conception. So, okay. Okay, very, very quick. I'm not sure if everybody heard the questions, but what Kevin was asking about and kind of giving some thoughts about too is the idea that this community is who this community is because we want to grow and mature as a profession. We are looking for ways to learn and grow and experience new things. And everyone in this room wants to have these conversations with us. And then the question from Dan comes to, when are we ready to be coached? When are we ready to not be coached? And the reality of that is too that we should be coachable from inception, but we have to approach what we do in our businesses with no fear. And sometimes it's scary, and sometimes we'll fall, and sometimes we'll fail. I'm trying to remember who was asking me this question yesterday, but it was like, what if I make a misstep? It's like, so? You know how many missteps I've made along the way? There are very few missteps we can make in our career that we can't recover from. And more often than not, the things that I thought were missteps actually turned out to be a really cool opportunity. What's on your mind?
someone is looking for a mentor? What do they do if they don't know what questions they should be asking? If they don't, they're not really experienced. Specific have a path. Like I don't expect what steps. I've been kind of general.
I got a few slides on that later on. That phenomenal question. And for anyone who's, I'm hoping we can all hear. But some of the answer to that too is, I don't even know what questions I should be asking. I don't even know what I should be experiencing. Some of those questions come down to asking, what questions should I be asking? What am I missing? Tim wants to say something. I can see it. He's just vibrating. And it's like he's had the Red Bull, not me.
I don't want to jump at anything, but so in this group, right, and with all of you here, and for the days that you would make your and the next session, and the next conference, the first thing I've talked to Adam about this forever, ask a question. We don't care at a certain point, especially if you get a cranky guy like me. Honest to God, if you actually find us and just want to talk, it's just don't take the time to talk. Come find me a call. Ask like after that sheet. Find me a call. But step back a second. You are in this group. You selected this. You take first thing I will do, I let this so I'm curious enough about this. But the best part is that once you find one student, and if we fail on one, it doesn't matter because if you get a chance, the first thing I know, I do learn, and eventually you're going to be in that spot where I train. But focus on the idea that you are in a world where you can literally have both that and all that. Some parts of our like I was in Chicago, I told that out of the 60 people like I think like I was in 61 of the 60. I had never been in the system. I was never going to be a chief of household. But I honestly thought I wanted to be part of somebody else. I'm tired.
So, following up on Dan's question, if you don't know what the questions are, ask what questions you should be asking. I love that too. It's like, what do I need to know? Where should I go? Who should I be asking questions? Part of the problem I think that we're in our industry right now too is there's so much to consume. There's so many YouTube videos, there's so many LinkedIn posts, there's so many podcasts. Tim's podcast is awesome, just saying. But there's so much information to consume that sometimes it's hard to weed out the signal from the noise in that too. But that's why we come here. That's why we come to B-Sides, to interact with the people. Always remember that as much as we often get into this industry, because we want to work with technology, the end result is we're here to work with people. We're often here to work with people. And the people and the business objectives we're trying to serve, is really where we'll find our success. And as we have missteps in our career too, you can say we rise and then we have a little bit of a dip and this is my career, whatever. And I'm not even, I guess I'm not trying to make fun of alcoholism because I don't really drink anymore. But we will always have this dream that we're trying to achieve, and sometimes the dream is unrealistic. It was when I first met a real live astronaut that I was like, oh, dang, like that's actually a human being doing human being things that are far beyond anything I will ever achieve in my life. So sometimes the dreams aren't actually achievable. That doesn't mean we failed. It means we have a new opportunity to try and find the next dream. Right peg, right hole. So I went and worked with Trent for a few years at the city of Calgary. It was awesome. And the funny thing with that was that he was like, dang, you are not in your right place here doing capital project risk assessments. And I'm like, yeah. And this is not something that is fully developed either. This was just me on a Wednesday night trying to formulate some ideas. But we are a broad group of professionals doing a broad group of professional things. If you are a technologist wanting to work with tech, writing policy is probably not going to be where you're going to feel fulfillment in your job role. If you are a pen tester, if you are an offensive technologist, maybe doing vulnerability management won't be where you'll feel fulfillment in your job role. If you are looking at awareness, education, budget accountability, politicizing, the leadership side of our business is really important too, but it is not for everyone. Everybody says, I want the boss because I want the boss salary, and then they realize that being the boss really sucks. And the vendor side of our business too, there's lots of vendors down the hall and they're all doing great things too. They have all their goals and their objectives they're trying to achieve. And if you don't have a whole lot of experience in this realm, in cybersecurity in general, you're gonna have to try a few things to figure out where you wanna be and who you wanna be. Because I really thought that, yeah, risk assessments on capital projects for government, that sounds cool and I wanna do that for a while. And Trent found a way to get rid of me rather quickly because he knew that I was problematic. Does anybody have thoughts about this, about where we can be in our careers and maybe what's missing there? Yes. Yes. So when we're talking earlier about stealing from each other, the reality is we shouldn't be thinking about it from the perspective of stealing this small talent pool from each other, but giving each other opportunities to learn and grow and explore. I have told everyone that has ever worked for me, I will never, I don't buy into that whole people don't leave bad companies, they leave bad leaders. People in cybersecurity need to explore the world and figure out where they need to land. And for anybody who's ever worked for me, I've told them from day one, you ever need a reference? I won't be the guy to freak out about, saying, hey, Adam, I'm thinking about doing something different. If I can't offer the people that work for me the opportunities they're looking for to learn and grow and explore and do new things and deliver value, then, and for those of you that are in leadership positions in your companies, I hope you can start to think about doing the same. Encourage your people. Because the last thing you want, and okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, I will do the same thing. I will work for the money because because we all have to eat. Some of us have kids to feed.
Really, that comes back to the whole passion. Are you getting into cybersecurity to pay the bills and make money, or are you getting into it if it's to make money and pay the bills, then you're probably not going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's another emerging trend, the MSP space.
Yeah.
So small businesses, right? They are, especially in Canada, they are amateurs in cybersecurity. So they're looking to MSP for help. Some of this because you have the entry level, just get it.
Yep. That's brilliant. Yeah. MSPs. So there's lots of outsourcing opportunities to be a part of. What's on your mind?
so my question is, it's sometimes kind of hard to tell apart different roles and what you actually have to do because a lot of companies they just kind of make job titles, descriptions that's all not really regulated in a way. So yeah,
I've seen that on Reddit a lot. So I have a couple opportunities. I can go be a cybersecurity analyst or a cyber tech engineer. Which should I do? And I bring out the Thor quote as like all words are made up, right? Because that's what most of our job descriptions are, is made up words. This is what's killing me in the job descriptions and why I had that existential crisis looking on Indeed.com was that these postings were for all of these things continuously in our organizations, and this is not achievable by any individual. This is achievable by a team, and yet for a team of 15 IT people, we add in one cybersecurity analyst. And when I'm talking to people, when I have the opportunity to talk to students, I often tell them too, is you got to get out of school, you got student loans, you got to get paid off, go get a job. And when you look at things like the ISC squared, CISSP, body of knowledge, what you'll discover is that pretty much all of it is stuff you will be doing in your job. You are not your job title. For any of you who are trying to build your brand on LinkedIn, it has, you have your name and then you have your little kind of blurb underneath. Don't put your job title there. Your job title is somewhere down in your experience. Put who you aspire to be, right? So under mine, it's like AdamMcMath, cybersecurity, risk management. It's not, director of cybersecurity is some $12 billion company that doesn't give a hoot about who I am, right? It's build your brand about who you aspire to be, right? It may be greatest hacker in the world. It might be security awareness educator. Artie Gaudia did a talk at B-Sides Calgary last year where this was exactly what she did. Who do you want to be? Who do you aspire to be? I learned so much from that talk. It was fantastic. Let's scoot to the next one, Dan, because I'm running out of time. You guys are brilliant. Thank you so much for the conversation. He's trying.
massive like, oh, do I need to act to see how vulnerable you are? Oh, do I need context of it? How can I bring it to people that they might have a good idea of picking up but it might not be. They might just get hit that it's not to see that, oh yeah, there's that's the only sense that or whatever. How can we make it so that we have a better understanding of how vulnerable we're becoming, even with this potentially increasing technology that we're facing, like AI, something that's going to be smarter than smart.
Oh, and okay, I'm going to take that. So what we're talking about is how do we do that educating upwards? If this is the reality of what we are, why would we say, because we're the special snowflakes, why do we believe that we are actually more important than one of the best project managers in the company? An IT project manager does a whole lot of things. An IT project manager is capable of doing great things. A full stack developer, are we actually more important than those individuals? The place that we have to be, because our industry is so new, I'll sneak back to you in just a second, is that we have to be those educators. We have to be delivering that awareness in our organizations. We'll scoot forward, Dan. I think Pi. Oh, and this is where we'll get into this. And I had to get some memes in there. So yeah, there's hey, thanks Toby. Yeah, and I just put some silly memes in because I like pie. And I did that at Thanksgiving this year, and my middle kid, I may have scars now, but that's beside. You had a thought?
I just wanted to say, there's an obvious disconnect between hiring the background, playground, full. The reality of it is cybersecurity is a team sport.
Yep.
At the end of the day, we're looking for people to fill a breadth of skills that's probably
Yep.
not playground full, triangle, big triangle full. We need to look at it as a collaborative environment, a team sport rather than individuals trying to.
Yeah. Well, let's burn through this, and that is actually my closer. You're head of your head. Yeah. Next one. There we go. Performance, image, exposure. So one of the things that, because we often have privacy and cybersecurity, we put them together, but they're kissing cousins at best. They're not actually really all that related. Privacy is much more of a legislative issue versus cybersecurity, which is taking who we are in our business and providing reasonable security of personal information, which could be our role within privacy, sure, but sometimes we take that a little bit too hard. So if we start off with the idea of performance, this is what we all seek to do in our education, in our careers. We want to perform, we want to do good work, we want to be experts, we want to be known for being experts in our field. We want to be known for being the go-to people when we have the bad day. We want to be known as the people who are absolutely necessary at project initiation. Wouldn't that be awesome if all of our projects had cybersecurity advice at the inception rather than, a risk assessment at the end when we tell them that their stuff's all broken and shouldn't go to prod? Yeah, never. I have scars there. So performance is absolutely a key piece of that. Get good at what you want to get good at and get paid while doing it, right? Get a job. Get any job. Do that exploration. Figure out how you can deliver what you're delivering. My first job I stayed at for a year. My second job I stayed at for a couple years. I ended up in my own consulting firm, which I ran for 17 years successfully. It was glorious. But I always kept moving, and I reckon Tim has always kept moving. The people that are always seeking new experiences are the ones who are worth having those conversations with about, where did you screw up? Where would you have liked to have stayed that you didn't stay? Because I've had a few of those over my career too. Craft your personal brand. When I talk about privacy, how many of us actually have LinkedIn profiles that say, this is who I am. I'm AdamMcMath. I do cybersecurity and I do risk management. And I'm not saying do what I do because, well, I'm an old bald guy who can't clip a mic thing onto his pants or it'll break. But craft that personal brand. And that's another one where you're going to fail. I continue to fail. I try things. I see what works, right? It's much more of the design thinking methodology. It's okay to stumble along the way as long as we learn from that in the process. And then exposure, right? You have to be seen. I have worked with people over the years who they come back to me and they say, yeah, if you Google my name, you'll find nothing. I'm like, okay, great. Who are you? If you want to advance in your career, you are going to have to be exposed. Your exposure to your personal brand will give you the opportunity to perform at ever increasing levels. Maybe we want steady state in our lives. I don't judge, that's fine. There are people who want that, who genuinely want to work in the same role. If you want to grow, if you want new career, you are going to have some exposure to an image that is attractive to the people who are hiring, that we're going to educate along the way through our performance. So performance, we tend to put 80% of our effort into that. We put 15% of our effort into our image, and then we put 5% into exposure. When you look at, I don't know, some of the people that we would consider successful in this world, the vast majority of time, their performance is something they did 20 years ago. And today, it's 50% image, 45% exposure. And that's okay too. Scoot to the next one. So I got 2 minutes. So my 3 things that I suggested that maybe we've got some issues with. We got awareness problems. Be educators in your environments. Your environments don't have to be your boss. They can be other people in your organization. You can work through the entire organization. Find champions. Find IT people who want to do what you do or want to be connected to what you're connected to. Find human resources people, recruiters, educators, anywhere else in your human resources. We all like to hack on human resources. Some of the coolest security people I've ever worked with have been the result of human resources. Image problems. This one I would love to have spent more time talking about, but I got 1 minute. Align your image in your organizations to business value. If you're looking for jobs, look through some of those job postings too. If the employers are going to treat us like numbers, we can treat the employers like numbers. Leadership problems. If we have leadership problems, this is where the accountability piece comes in. You guys nailed it right at the beginning. I didn't even need to give this presentation. It's great. We'll sneak to I think it's one more here. This is the one that has become really important to me over the last 5 years as we've gone through a global pandemic, and I hope maybe can be helpful for any of you as well. When we went into the pandemic and there was all of the stress around all the lockdowns or all the unlockdowns, the uncertainty, and it was one of my kids' ringette coaches who taught the kids on that ringette team. There's 2 buckets. There's a bucket of things you can control, bucket of things you can't control. The more you focus on the bucket of things you can control, the lighter the bucket of things you can't control gets. So focus on what's in your control. We can't control the crappy job postings. What we can control is how we react to them and what we apply for and how we apply those learnings in our jobs and our daily lives, and follow the right energy. This actually came to me from my boss in my current role. I was raging against someone who was doing something stupid, and he came back to me and said, Adam, just ignore all that, follow the energy. Where's the energy? Where can we go that we can actually make the right difference that we want to do? There's going to be so much that's out of our control. Most of that will have negative energy. Do what you can to focus on the right energy and what's in your control. And that's really it. We're at 11:21. We haven't yet had I think Vincent's the only one who's ended on time so far today. Thank you, Vincent, for being cool. My name's Adam. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I only log into LinkedIn a couple times a week because I have my phone. Thank you, Brody. Thank you, Dan. I'm going to take off the microphone. Come talk to me if you want. Hi.